one other question. Something you've mentioned a few times, I've been very curious to hear more of, and the Caribbean Cruise CDs blew my mind, boy. But you talked about it directly there, which is, you were talking to teachers a lot in there and about this, and you said that we will say, I brought a really ornery, irritating person in my experience just now who's just driving me up the wall. Therefore, I must have that same problematic irritation within me, or that irritating person would not be in my face giving me this grief. You said, and what we want to explain is that your intention to uplift, your intention to be a teacher, your intention to be a soother, your intention to find solutions is the reason that that person is in your experience. And the assumption that you're meeting them on an equivalent problem level is the wrong assumption. I've certainly seen myself go through some contrast, clean it up, share it with my client.
Here's what we meant about all of that. Because, so we'll start at a more basic story. So we say, if people are stealing from you, it means that you have that vibration active within you. Doesn't mean you're a thief. It means that your awareness of thieves is active enough within you that you're getting plenty of that. So that's the sort of basis beginning place of this conversation. So then, let's jump to this thing that we've been saying all day here today, that when a problem is coming into focus, a solution is too. So what about a teacher who is so determined to be an uplifter? What about a teacher being willing to experience problems coming into focus so that solutions can come into focus too? In other words, we really want you to understand that not one of you said, coming into this experience, spare me the contrast, just carve out for me a feathered nest, and I will just observe it and live happily ever after. Because all of you knew that your joy and your expansion were inextricably tied together. You all knew that it was expanding into a new place and coming fully into alignment that was the true satisfaction and joy of life experience. So what we were getting at with that statement is that, so someone comes into your experience and they're ornery and they're giving you grief and they're sort of in your face, and there's a tendency, like our friend with the messy desk, to then beat up on yourself about, maybe I am a negative attractor because here I've got this uncomfortable experience happening. And we were just pointing out that teachers especially are attractors of situations that cause them expansion. In other words, you can't separate problems from solutions. And if you are eternal beings that are always evolving, then you've got to accept the part of the evolution that is the problem, just like you accept the part of this evolution that is the solution. You can't have one without the other. If there is not a question, there cannot be an answer. Someone earlier today was expressing appreciation for us, and we want to express appreciation right back, because brilliant as our answers are, they are equivalent to the brilliance of your questions. Without your wanting to know, then the solutions and answers are not there. And that was the point that we were making. It's a wonderful thing when you accept the whole of your life experience and you appreciate the diversity, and you understand that it helps you to choose. It's a wonderful thing when you realize that you have chosen, that it is queued up, and the larger part of you is already reveling in it, and that you have access to all of that here and now. It's the thing that particular seminar on the Caribbean cruise started the conversation about, and we are adding to it with every gathering that we participate with the likes of you. It is the understanding that in all that you are living, the new idea is being born. And without the new idea being born, there can be no expansion and therefore no satisfaction at all. The new conversation that we really began having on that Caribbean cruise is the solution the solution and problem coming into fruition simultaneously, and the choice that you have in any moment of which you more resonate with. It is the understanding that as you find yourself in the vortex and you are consciously aware of it because you've noticed how you feel, so you practice the vibration of it by milking it longer until you make a bigger part of your hour by hour experience on planet Earth in your body one of being in the vortex. So you practice the vibration of being in the vortex. What begins to happen is you begin living a sort of real-time experience. It's just remarkable as it begins to show itself to you, because what it means is, as a problem flickers, the solution flickers too. So, and you get so solution oriented that the problem you don't have to get really sick before you get weller. It's like Esther was driving the other day when they first came into this city, and she looked out ahead and she could see a truck pulling a trailer, and there was a piece of equipment on the trailer. And as Esther looked at it, she felt a relationship with it, and she knew right away that that truck was about to do something erratic. It was several car lengths down the road, but they were all moving relatively fast, about 70 miles an hour. And suddenly that truck and trailer began moving into a lane, and a car that had just decided to pass it was now forced into the lane that Esther would have been in if she had not been aware and had slowed way down. So from a distance, Esther watched something unfold that she intuitively knew was coming. And it's what we call living real time. In other words, she didn't sense the problem, explain the problem to herself, conclude a solution, and then act accordingly and prevent a problem. She knew the solution and did not have to know the problem. You see what we're getting at? The problem didn't have to reveal itself to her in the form of an illness or in the form of an accident or in the form of a close call. It's this real-time solution orientation. And so that's really what you all have had, those experiences where you just intuitively know. And we want you to realize that as you begin accepting this vibrational universe of which you are a significant part, and you accept the vibrational being that you really are, and you become emotionally oriented rather than so observant of what is oriented, so that how you feel is what's most on your mind, and you're working for the feeling, not for the manifestation. Now what happens? You begin living this real-time life where you're in the right place at the right time, where the most interesting people introduce themselves to you, where the money flows to you in ways that seems unimaginable, when doors open and money begins flowing that you didn't even know was possible before, when ideas flow to you that just burst into the landscape of your mind and thrill you as they rivet through you, as book ideas and movie ideas and song ideas and creative ideas just explode in your mind. In other words, real time, because you and everyone you know has been creating this vortex, and it's ripe with magnificent manifestations that all you have to do is tune yourself to the frequency, and those ideas and manifestations are yours. Are you following us? We've been going on and on for years about knowing what you don't want and knowing what you do want. And we've also said to you for many, many years, you've put enough in your vortex to keep you busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes. You don't have to keep hammering it out. You don't have to keep suffering yourself into expansion. This is the time of awakening. This is the time to tune yourself to the expansion that you've already carved out, and let the manifestations be the manifest. What is a manifest? Manifestation is like a affirmation or evidence of something. So it's time for the evidence of your vortex to be revealed to you and anyone else who has the ability to see it. And a conversation like the one that you started with really brings this conversation out into the light of day in a powerful way, because it's just not necessary for you to suffer your way into expansion. But it doesn't matter where you stand. You can get to where you want to be from wherever you are, no matter what.